I'm Eliane from Patchwork and Poodles. Let's make 2 at a time wonky stars together. For this video, I'm going to make stars that finish at 6 inches square. If you'd like to make a different size, click on the link in the description below to go to my blog, where there's a full chart of star sizes and cutting measurements. For 2 stars, you're going to need 2 different fabrics. You want them to be contrasting in color. From fabric A, cut 4 3.5-inch squares and 5 2.5-inch squares. From fabric B, also cut 4 3.5-inch squares and 5 2.5-inch squares. Set aside all the smaller 2.5-inch squares for now. We'll start by layering 1 3.5-inch square of fabric A on top of 1 3.5-inch square of fabric B. If you're using print fabrics, you want to lay them so that the print is facing up for both fabrics. We're going to find the approximate top center point. Don't stress too much during this process. These are supposed to be wonky stars, so accuracy is not important. We're going to position our ruler from the approximate center point to create an angle for our first cut. Gently pull the cut piece away, and now position your ruler on the other side of the square to create the second cut. I like to leave about a 1/2 inch of space at the top of my wonky star, so that I can trim away that extra later for a sharp point. Remember to vary the angle of your ruler to create that wonky effect. With both sides cut, we're going to pull the bottom fabric of the center piece and bring it to the top. We want to make sure that we're leaving the position the same, so we don't want to flip it over. This is especially important if you're using solids where there is no right or wrong side. Now the center fabric is different from our point fabrics. We're going to take the top left triangle, the one that we cut second, and we're going to place it right sides together with the center piece, and sew that together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and press that seam open. Repeat with the second point, right sides together, sewing a 1/4 inch seam and pressing open. Now we've finished one point of our star. You'll want to repeat the whole process with the alternate colors. We need to trim this down to 2.5 inches. I've seen wonky stars where there's extra space above the point, where there's a gap between the points, and where the points line up exactly with the star. The latter is my preference, so that's how I'm going to cut them. I need a 2.5 inch square, so I'll line up the dot on my ruler that is 1.25 inches in and 1/4 inch down, and then I'm going to trim. If you find that you can't line up to the center point, don't worry. Again, these are supposed to be wonky, so just trim where you're able to finish with a 2.5 inch square. Rotate your block and trim again so that your final square measures 2.5 inches. Once you've finished one point of each star, repeat with the remaining 3.5 inch squares to create all 4 star points. With our star points completed, we can assemble our wonky stars. Lay out your star on your cutting mat, rotating and rearranging the star points until you like the look of your star. We're going to sew our blocks into rows and then sew the rows together. We're going to press to the outside, to the inside, and to the outside of our rows so that our seams nest together. Once you like the look of your star, bring it over to your machine and sew it together. And here's our finished star. On the back, you can see the pressing direction where the seams nest. And for the final seams, I press them open to eliminate bulk. Now make a whole bunch of wonky stars to create a quilt.